Good afternoon, everyone. Happy December 3rd. Hope you guys have had a great weekend. We are in day 3 of our Advent series, Emmanuel, God with us. Our set of verses today are Genesis 32, verses 22 through 31. It says, "During the night, Jacob got up and took his 2 wives, his 2 servants' wives, and his 11 sons, and crossed the Jabbok River with them. After taking them to the other side, he sent over all his possessions. This left Jacob all alone in the camp, and a man came and wrestled with him until the dawn began to break. When the man saw that he would not win the match, he touched Jacob's hip and wrenched it out of its socket. Then the man said, 'Let me go, for the dawn is breaking.' But Jacob said, 'I will not let you go unless you bless me.' 'What is your name?' the man asked. He replied, 'Jacob.' 'Your name will no longer be Jacob,' the man told him. 'From now on you will be called Israel, because you have fought with God and with men and have won.' 'Please tell me your name,' Jacob said. 'Why do you want to know my name?' the man replied. Then he blessed Jacob there. Jacob named the place Peniel, which means face of God, for he said, 'I have seen God face to face, yet my life has been spared.' The sun was rising as Jacob left Peniel, and he was limping because of the injury to his hip." It says, God renames us. About 70 years ago, my grandfather, who lived in the former Soviet Union, changed his name from Mendel Barak to Mikhail Barvak. The decision might seem foolish or inconsequential, but those few letters mattered greatly. My grandfather adopted a new name to protect himself and his family from pervasive anti-Semitism in the communist state. He guarded his identity so closely that our family learned of the change only decades later, following perestroika, a period of political and economic restructuring in the Soviet Union in the late 1980s. I was 27 years old when I first heard my grandfather's true name. In contrast with my mother-in-law, Nadia Tomashvik moved to the United States, and immigration officials suggested shortening her surname to Thomas. Nadia refused, desiring to preserve her Ukrainian heritage. I can't talk today. In biblical times, like in my family, names carried great significance, telling something of who a person was or would become. Jacob meant deceiver. When Jacob encountered God, he asked for a blessing, and he received a new name. In his sovereignty, God renamed Jacob Israel. He struggles with God, emphasizing not his fallen nature, but his divine encounter. When we encounter God, we too have the opportunity to cast off our old names: skeptic, liar, thief, manipulator, and embrace new identities as follower, disciple, believer, servant of God. God renames us because he has a different agenda for us. In Acts 11:26, we read that the disciples were first called Christians, a name we are honored to bear today. May we, like Israel, be forever reminded that we are not who we were. May we live a life worthy of the calling we've received. As we follow Christ into a broken world, sharing our own stories of transformation and redemption for the glory of him whose name we bear. Lord, we are surrounded by and complicit in the brokenness of the world. Thank you for changing our names, helping us cast off who we have been and embrace who you would have us to be. Help us to live as people who have been redeemed and renamed. God has the ability to rename us when we accept Christ. All those old names, all those old actions that define us don't define us anymore, because God takes over. Everyone have a great Sunday, have a great week, and go be the example.